Secrets. They are the currency of the shadows. In the cinematic world of Harry Potter, no one traded in secrets more effectively than Severus Snape. He was a man defined by what he didn't say, a man who wore a mask of cold indifference to hide a heart that had been breaking for decades. But while the world was watching Alan Rickman master the art of the hidden hero, his own biology was beginning to write a much darker script. Behind the deep, resonant voice and the iconic black robes, a microscopic disaster was unfolding.
The last time I was on this show, you said to me, was I aware that people impersonated me?
In the world of clinical medicine, there is an organ that behaves exactly like a double agent. It is tucked away, hidden from view, and silent until the very end. It is the pancreas. And in 2015, Alan Rickman's pancreas began a silent mutiny that no magic could reverse. This is not just the story of a beloved actor's death. This is a clinical investigation into the silent killer, a biological heist where the thief takes everything before you even know he's inside the house.
This is not reality. It's a romance.
To understand the tragedy of Alan Rickman, we must first understand the geography of the human gut. Most of your vital organs are easy to find. Your heart thumps steadily against your ribs. Your lungs expand visibly against your chest. Your liver acts as a massive shield on your right side. But the pancreas is different. The pancreas is a ghost. It is a 6-inch long, flat gland tucked deep in the back corner of your abdominal cavity. It sits horizontally behind your stomach, leaning right against the spine in a region doctors call the retroperitoneum. Because of this remote location, a doctor cannot feel a tumor on the pancreas during a standard physical exam. It is hidden behind layers of muscle, fat, and other organs. It exists in a permanent medical blind spot. In a healthy body, the pancreas serves as the engine room for your metabolism. It has two critical jobs that keep you alive. First, it acts as an exocrine gland, producing enzymes that act like chemical scissors to break down your food. Second, it acts as an endocrine gland, producing insulin, the vital hormone that acts as a key to unlock your cells so they can receive energy. Think of insulin as the oil in your biological machine. Without it, the energy signals get stuck and the engine runs dry. When the pancreas is healthy, these systems fire in perfect harmony. But when the cells inside this engine room begin to die or mutate, they become an invading army. Every cancer begins with a single error, a glitch in the software of life. In Alan Rickman's case, this glitch occurred in the ductal cells of the pancreas. Your DNA is constantly being copied. Billions of times a day, your body follows a blueprint to build new cells. Most of the time, this process is perfect, but occasionally a mutation occurs. Usually, your immune system, your body's search and destroy team, identifies these mutated cells and deletes them. But pancreatic cancer cells are masters of biological disguise. They don't just grow, they build a fortress around themselves. They create a thick, fibrous wall of tissue called the stroma.
Specifically, when I was 8, my father died, so that was very measurably a time when we knew things were difficult because
this wall is so dense that it actually increases the physical pressure inside the tumor, squeezing the surrounding blood vessels shut. This is why pancreatic cancer is so notoriously hard to treat with traditional medicine. The fortress wall is so thick that the chemotherapy drugs in your blood literally cannot reach the center of the tumor. The thief was not just in the house. He had barricaded the door from the inside, using the body's own nutrients to fund his expansion. For years, the tumor grew in total silence. Rickman felt nothing, no pain, no tremors, no warning. He was traveling the world, filming major movies, and living the life of a global icon. Then, in August 2015, the first crack in the mask appeared. Alan Rickman suffered what appeared to be a minor stroke. In the medical world, a stroke is a vascular event, a temporary blockage in the brain's power grid. It seemed like a standard neurological issue, perhaps caused by stress or exhaustion. But when doctors began performing a battery of scans to find the source of the stroke, they accidentally discovered something far more terrifying. They found a shadow on his pancreas. Like many patients with this diagnosis, Rickman was handed a life sentence before he even felt like a patient. This is the hallmark of the silent killer. It is a thief that works in shadows, stealing your grace and your time 1 inch at a time. By the time a person feels their first real symptom, like the yellowing of the skin or deep abdominal pain, the disease is often already in its final stages. The engine was already running dry, and the signals were getting stuck. Alan Rickman was 69 years old. He was a man of immense dignity and professional pride, and just like the character he played for a decade, he decided to keep his greatest struggle a secret from the world. He chose to live a double life. In the entertainment industry, sick often means unemployed. Rickman was afraid of the industry's reaction, fearing that his diagnosis would lead to pity or the loss of work. He fought to maintain the illusion of health while his body was slowly becoming a stranger to him. He didn't want a pity party. He wanted to keep working and speaking for as long as possible. For the next 5 months, he became a master of physical acting in his private life. If he felt the mounting fatigue or the dull, gnawing pain in his back, he hid it. He continued to attend events and record lines for his final projects. He was locked behind his own skin, performing the role of a healthy man while his internal engine room was being dismantled piece by piece. As the disease enters its final phase, the silent killer finally reveals its presence through physical destruction. Medical experts define this progression through 4 primary symptoms, or pillars of collapse. First is jaundice. The tumor in the pancreas grows large enough to squeeze the bile duct shut. Bile, the fluid that helps you digest fat, has nowhere to go. It backs up into the liver and overflows into the bloodstream, turning the skin and eyes a sickly yellow. Second is cachexia, or extreme weight loss. This is not just about a loss of appetite. The tumor hijacks the body's metabolism, forcing it to burn its own muscle and fat to feed the cancer. You can eat, but the engine room is broken. The fuel never reaches your cells. Third is neuropathic pain. Because the pancreas sits right on top of a massive nerve bundle called the celiac plexus, the tumor begins to crush the nerves. This causes a deep, boring pain that radiates to the back, a pain that never sleeps. Finally, there is system failure. As the cancer spreads, the body loses its ability to balance its own chemistry. The brain begins to cloud, and the body's why starts to flicker. These pillars act as a cage, slowly closing in on a life once defined by motion and grace. Beyond the physical pain, pancreatic cancer, much like Parkinson's, can take away a person's ability to communicate emotion. While Rickman didn't suffer from the Parkinson's mask specifically, the sheer exhaustion and the side effects of treatment can lead to a loss of facial expression and a softening of the voice. This condition, often called hypophonia, makes the voice become soft and monotone. Imagine being one of the world's greatest actors, famous for your deep, commanding voice, and suddenly losing the ability to show a smile or raise your volume. The world starts to treat you differently, assuming you are bored or depressed, when in reality, you are simply locked behind your own skin. In his final role as the voice of Absalom in Alice Through the Looking Glass, you can hear the change. The booming instrument of his youth had become something more measured, something quieter. He was navigating the frailties of the human condition in front of the microphone, using every last ounce of dopamine and energy to bridge the gap between his mind and his performance. In January 2016, only 5 months after that minor stroke in August, the secret war ended. Alan Rickman passed away in London at the age of 69. The world was in shock. Communicating to the fans, it felt like Snape had died twice, once on the screen, and then in reality. But the reality was far more clinical. The thief of motion had taken a different form here. It hadn't just frozen his body. It had extinguished the fire from the inside out. His doctor had initially predicted he might have a bit more time, but pancreatic cancer is an unpredictable mutiny. It is a thief that works in shadows, stealing grace 1 inch at a time. But even as his body failed, Rickman's spirit refused to stand still. He spent his final weeks ensuring his legacy was secure and his family was cared for. He moved the conversation from why me to what now, showing the world that while a disease can take your movement and your energy, it can never take your why. He remained the master of his own story until the very end. Why do we tell these dark stories at Dear Patient? Because the silent killer thrives on our ignorance. Every year, hundreds of thousands of people are diagnosed with the same biological heist. For decades, the research was fragmented and slow, but that is finally starting to change. Scientists are now identifying biomarkers, tiny protein fingerprints in the blood or spinal fluid that can detect the presence of disease long before the first twitch or pain starts. These biomarkers act as an early warning system, allowing us to see the thief in the shadows before he starts stealing. We are moving away from a model of pity and toward a model of high-speed discovery. Because of pioneers like Alan Rickman and the awareness created by their journeys, we are closer to a cure than ever before. We are learning to detect the glitch in the code while there is still time to fix it. We are learning to see the unseeable. Alan Rickman's story is more than just a chronicle of a sick celebrity. It is a roadmap for how we face the unthinkable. He showed us that resilience is not about the absence of pain or the absence of fear. It is about moving forward anyway. He proved that even when the engine room is failing, the human heart can still produce light. He taught us that while a disease may take your movement, it can never take your why. He remained a boy in motion, not because his body was fast, but because his spirit refused to stand still. He didn't just become a patient, he became a pioneer for a new kind of awareness. We are all, in some way, navigating the frailties of the human condition. But as Rickman showed the world, we don't have to be victims of our biology. We can be its masters. Thank you for watching Dear Patient. If this story moved you, consider sharing it to spread awareness about the early warning signs of pancreatic disease. Subscribe to join us as we continue to pull back the curtain on the mysteries of the human body and the resilience of those who live within it. Rest in peace, Alan Rickman. 1946 to 2016. The man in the black robes was fighting a war the world never knew existed.